Hey guys, what is up? ImCameo. Today I'm bringing you guys a review of the Gaems personal gaming environment Vanguard Black Edition. Now this is essentially a briefcase with a 19-inch 720p 1080p scaled screen that allows you to house a console like a PS4, Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS3, Wii U inside of it and make it easy for transportation. And for those competitive gamers, it does feel very similar to my 5 millisecond response time Asus monitor, so it's around that 5 to 10 millisecond mark. It is 60 Hz, so the refresh rate isn't great, but for me, when I bought it, it was pretty good. So I bought this about 2 years ago, that's right, back in July of 2014 for a local LAN I was going to. It was a BYOC LAN, and I bought it because my friends and I were going to bring our Xbox 360s and just go game, right? I bought this because we were needing one more monitor, and I thought, hey, I've been wanting one for a while, I think they're really cool, I'm going to buy it, that way we can use it this weekend, and then also I can use it later on when I travel to LAN events and that kind of stuff. Well, that's when the fun started. So when I got the product, there was a dead pixel on the screen. Still there today. The problem I had was that I needed this that week. I needed it that weekend for the LAN, so I couldn't just return it and get a new one later because this is what I wanted, this is what I purchased with my money, and I really needed this like this weekend. It's not that I could return it or anything like that because I needed it right now. So I figured, one dead pixel, not gonna hurt anything, and realistically it didn't. I mean, once the game loads up, you don't really notice it. It's on the black screen, you notice the pink pixel there, but realistically, you don't really notice it too much. And once I got back from the LAN, I did try to get this exchanged for a new one. However, with the Gaems customer support, they said, hey, you've already used it, you've already scratched it a little bit, there are some scratches on it because of travel and whatnot. We can't return it, unfortunately, or exchange it for a new one. So I'm like, whatever, it's one dead pixel, like I said, you don't really see it too much, oh well. And from there on, I didn't really use it too much. I used it occasionally if I went over to my friend's house, we were having a LAN at his house, or when I had people come over to my house, I had people use it just for an extra monitor, that way I didn't have to bring theirs. But for the most part, I realistically didn't use it a whole lot. Now I lent it to my friend to use because he didn't have a monitor at the time, so I lent him to use for a while when we were playing Black Ops 2, but again, didn't really use it a whole lot. And for the price point of $349, for me, it averaged out to be about $7 per use. And frankly, that's not the greatest. So is this a bad product? Not really. It does feature speakers on the screen if you don't want to use headphones, along with 2 headphone jacks if you're going to play a co-op game, or you just want to immerse yourself with your own headphones. It has a very short HDMI cable to plug in your console, so there's not a huge cable in there, and it has a power source as well. Now like I said, for me, this wasn't a great purchase. Now it was a cool idea that I saw on Twitter. I saw a lot of people, talking about it. I saw Optic had them, and I'm like, oh my god, Optic, I love them, right? So I need to get this thing because I'm going to use it all the time. For someone like me who already had a gaming setup, already had a monitor to play on, already had my console stationary, I didn't really travel too much, and if I did travel, I didn't bring my console with me. This was not a necessary purchase for myself. However, if you're someone who travels a lot, you're staying in hotels a lot, or you're just traveling for either work or your parents' work, or you just you're moving a lot. Let's say your parents are divorced, right? And you have to move houses back and forth. This is really nice to contain, your console, your controllers, just everything kind of inside of it. That way it's super easy to travel. Speaking of travel, it is going to be about 20 pounds once you have the console and everything inside of it. So it's definitely not light, but it's not super heavy either. Now, while yes, it is TSA ready, you can use it as your carry-on if you do end up flying a lot. I wouldn't recommend it because, again, it is pretty heavy, and lugging around the airport for that long just kind of seems like it's not going to be a fun time. Now, while Gaems does make other options, like a smaller portable display that you can travel with that comes with a backpack, or you can get smaller cases than this one, for this $349 price point, I feel like this doesn't fit most people's needs. Again though guys, if you're traveling a lot, if your parents are divorced, I think it's probably the best example. If your parents are divorced and you're moving houses back and forth every week, this would probably be one of the better options for you versus either getting a setup at both houses or having to move like a monitor or a TV and a console back and forth, because everything is kind of stored right in here. Super neat, super easy to move. Also, if you're in the military, if you're stationed overseas, or you're at an academy and you don't really have, a TV or access to something like that you can play on, this is great because you get your own little monitor that you can play on. Super easy to move, super easy to store. It's a great option. So again, would I recommend this product? If you're going to be traveling a lot, if you're moving around a lot, if you're moving your consoles back and forth between houses, or you're going to a lot of LAN events where you bring your own console and setup, this thing is awesome. But for most people that already have a gaming setup at their house, they don't really have to move it too much, they don't plan on moving it too much, this is really overkill. Not overkill in a sense of performance, but of price. $349 for this, especially if you don't use it very often, just doesn't really make sense, guys. I'll leave a link in the description. You can check out Gaems' personal gaming environment and their options when it comes to products. They do have other options. They have a smaller Century option. They also have some personal, just small screens that you can move around, very portable monitors. So you guys can check them out. And if you do want to go with one, by all means, try it out. But again, like I said, I don't think the Vanguard is a good option for most people. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm ImCameo, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.